Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Tony, and today I have a very interesting video for you. Now, I wasn't expecting to do this video. It sort of came out of nowhere, but when I had the idea, I looked it up on Google and nobody's talked about it, so I decided to get on a live stream and talk about it. And that is a very interesting idea about the beloved character Steve from Minecraft. Now, everybody loves Steve. Steve is a cool dude, okay? But Steve, it has become apparent, may have a very dark secret. Now, it comes in the form of a conspiracy theory that actually transpired behind the workings of another cartoon, of a cartoon by the name of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and also Phineas and Ferb. And that is the idea that Steve is insane. Now, in Phineas and Ferb, the idea was that the sister was insane and that she was a mental patient somewhere and her brothers were mental patients. But look at Steve for a moment and look at the world of Minecraft, and we're going to sort of explain why it's possible that he could be insane. First of all, look at the sheer concept of the game. The sheer concept of the game is a guy whose main purpose really is adventure. He's an adventurous kind of guy. He goes around in this pixelated world. He's, mining for things. He's killing animals for resources and so on, so he can build his own stuff, so he can live. He's fighting for he's fighting to survive. Now to get dark for a sec and explore what that means. Now, in talking about this, I need to talk about Skyrim for a sec, because it employs and inherits the idea which I'm trying to discuss, and that is jail or prison. In a prison in Skyrim, when you're in prison, one of the ways you pay your time to get out is mining. You go into a mine. One of the prisons is actually a mine, and I believe you get a trophy if you escape it. Yeah, basically what happens is you're in this mine, and if you play Skyrim, you'll know, and you have to mine to get free. And that's how you pass your time, manual labor. Now, let's transfer this over to Minecraft. What does Steve do a lot? He mines. Gets you thinking. Is this mining in the game a clue to the fact he is somewhere in some prison, struggling to get free? It's a great idea, but let's examine more facts as to why he might be insane. Now let's take a look at the logic of the game. In particular, I want to talk about trees and books. Okay, in the game, you can build all kinds of stuff and so on, but I want to pay attention to bookshelves. In the game, there are bookshelves, little cubular things, but if you examine the bookshelf, there's something very odd about it. Something that is by all definition impossible, and that is that the books on the shelf interject. That's right, solid object passing through solid object. In other words, you've got a book here and a book here, and the books supposedly are going through each other. Now, in a real world, this is impossible. This is a complete impossibility. It just can't happen, like, at all. I mean, that you can create the illusion of it, I guess, but it just can't happen. So, this creates the idea, or the thought, this can lead to the idea that perhaps this world is a dreamlike thing. Now, there's further things to suggest this. As I said, I wanted to talk about trees. Now, when you're cutting trees, if you so choose, you can cut down a tree with your bare fist. Also an impossibility in real life. But by the law of a dream, it isn't. Because you see, anything that you can imagine is possible in a dream, in something you create in your own mind. So, by that logic, cutting a tree down and it just floating there makes sense in the world of Minecraft. Because, yeah. And it also makes sense, therefore, to believe that the reason this is so, the reason it's floating, is because it is a dream, and this world that Steve is in is a dream too. Now, it's a bit Alice in Wonderland-ish, I admit that, but there are a number of other things that lead you to believe the fact that he may be insane as well, including the characters he faces in the game. Now, in the game, he faces villages and, Endermen and creepers, specifically creepers. Now, all these things, these pieces of reality, if you will, represent the bits of the world, if this conspiracy theory is true, it represents the bits of the world that have leaked through into this dream world. Now, it's not really, an Inception kind of thing, so there's no dream within a dream, but, he very literally has created this world to, escape the world which has terrified him, but, because of the things he feared most being so terrifying, he has drawn on that, and it has become his foe within his dream world. Now, why does he create buildings in this dream world? The reason for that is because he's establishing a home within Wonderland, if you will. I talked about Alice earlier on, and Wonderland theory, which is the theory that, someone in state of insanity or in state to keep themselves sane will revert to a dream world in order to make themselves feel safe. Well, the building in that game solidifies that dream world. It solidifies that this is his home, this is where he's staying. This is where he's staying to protect himself from the outer world, which he'd rather not be in, you know? Because think about it. If you're in a dream world, you can do whatever you want, you know? You can, if you wanted to live in the TARDIS, you could live in the TARDIS. If you wanted to live in a cloud, you could live in a cloud. I mean, all is possible in Minecraft. And also, if you think about it, in Steve's mind. Now, I mean, it is kind of a challenge to believe that, if he was insane, if he is insane, that he would go to, that he would end up in a world that, is so cartoonish and so childlike and so lacking of logic. But that indicates to one thing and one other part of the theory, and that is that our Steve character is somewhat of a Peter Pan. He considers himself a child, and because he considers himself a child, he has the capacity to stay in touch with that imagination, create these miraculous things, and imagine these fantastical adventures in which he encounters the things he feared in real life, or the subliminal versions of the things he feared in real life, and defeats them. I mean, that's another thing. Listen, I mean, even the names of the things he faces are clues. You've got villages. Also, coincidentally, the monsters, or villains, if you will, in a really, really disturbing horror film. Then you've got creepers, the perfect example of, or the very metaphor, in fact, for the fear that is creeping up on him, creeping into his mind, creeping up right behind him, and, exploding, if you will, into his imagination, destroying it. I mean, that's why it explodes, because that's why the creeper explodes, because it's just, he fears that these negative things will destroy his emotion, will destroy the imaginative stuff he's created, the world he's created, the home he's created. And we, as the player, we often, we come to relate to him in a bit of a way when we have our house blown up by a creeper, because he, if he was insane, this is his home, and it's being blown up by the very thing he fears. Now, there are other things as well within the logic of the game that, relate to him being insane, and they are so obvious. It's kind of it's kind of scary. Um, Another thing is the uh the strongest thing in the game, the strongest armor in the game, which is Diamond. Now, what does Diamond represent in this world that he has created? It represents, if you think about it, it represents, you know, something, something so rare, you know, because Diamond in real life is rare, um, and it represents that, that one goal that he is trying to achieve, that one goal that's just, you know, there, he's got it in sight, but it's hard to get. And that is what makes Diamond so powerful in the game. And the reason why Diamond is so useful in the game and is the best armor in the game is because, you know, it is, you know, it is of such a value to him, because in the real world, he's got this goal to get out and stuff, but he's also got this goal to protect himself, and he sees Diamond as a way of thinking that. And as it so happened, Diamond is unbreakable, which brings you to another metaphor, which is the concept that in using a diamond pickaxe in the game, he is referring, you are, as the player, referring to the mental struggle of him, uh, of him never being able to get a break, from the manual labor he does. No matter how much he's banging away at this, that, and the other thing, he's never able to get a break from it. Always, mining and so on for stuff to maintain this world that he's created to escape the one he disliked. Now, I go over to Alice in Wonderland again because Alice did the same thing. The very reason she created Wonderland was to escape the world she hated. The world as it was. The true story of Alice in Wonderland is the story of a girl named Alice Little, who apparently, from my understanding, went insane or something. And if you think about it, Steve is no different. He's created this world within his mind, and Minecraft is ultimately the story of him trying to maintain that illusion, maintain this world within his mind. And creepers, i.e. the fears I was talking about, they're the things that are trying to destroy it, and therefore why he has to maintain it. Now, why did he go on adventures? Because his life, in real life, because he's insane, is lacking of adventure. So he dreams of adventure. He dreams of exploration. He dreams of freedom. I mean, that's the very thing a person in jail would want, is freedom. But to some extent, freedom can become a prison, which is why the map in Minecraft, and here's the biggest mind screw up of them all, and this is the reason why the map of the game is limited to a square and doesn't, get out of that square because, you know, his mind is a prison. So it's his freedom to some extent, but it is also in itself a prison because, if he does escape it, if he does escape his mind, he goes back into reality and he goes back into the horrors of the world, the darkness, all the bad things that are going on. And that in itself is pretty revolutionary, really. I mean, you can write your comments in the comment section what you think about this, but if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, if you ever stop to ask yourself why why things behave the way they do in Minecraft, a very logical explanation is that he's all imagining it. He's imagining it all, and in actual fact, he's locked away somewhere in a straitjacket, quietly losing his mind, creating an infinite number of worlds and scenarios in which he's the hero, not some depressing guy in a straitjacket, you know, with, an overactive imagination. I mean, uh, when I came up with this theory, I personally, I was kind of stunned by it, because, I mean, if you think about it, you've got uh, all the ingredients for a very believable thing. And it made sense with the Phineas and Ferb thing as much as it made sense with Minecraft, I mean, he very well could be insane. We don't know. But I'll leave that up to you guys for you to decide. And you tell me in the comment section. One other thing I want to talk about that, sort of uh, invokes or suggests the idea that he is insane is the element of magic in the game. Now, the game features enchantments, or, the ability to enhance the weapons he's already got so they have an added boost, an added power. And that is also, a hint or a metaphor, if you will, for illusion, because that's what magic is. Magic is an illusion. I should know. I'm a magician. In my spare time, I do card tricks. I know stuff like this, and I'm telling you, magic has a lot to do with illusion. So it makes sense that he would have, magic in the dream world because, magic also provides a distraction for him, because it's beautiful and wondrous and unique. It creates a distraction from the real world, from everything around him. And not only that, gives him power. Another thing to talk about in terms of his mental capacity is, and this is heading into why he's insane, sort of, and sort of clues that he's insane, is that when you look at the character that is Steve, he can be very resourceful, sure, but he can also be very merciless. I mean, you as the player, if you want to, you can attack the villages. You can attack the pigs. You can attack the farm animals. You can do all those kinds of things. You can breed them if you want. But you know you can attack them, which leads you to believe that if he were, like I was saying earlier, in some form of prison in real life, perhaps, maybe, just maybe, he has that uh, psychopathic mindset. I don't know. Uh, Perhaps even he is a sociopath. That is why he never talks to the villagers. That's why the villagers never talk to him, because you know he has an inability to talk to anyone. You know, so there's another possibility, but you know I could go on forever, you know, digging bits of logic out, you know, and sort of plucking them from the game and talking about them. But anyway, I won't do that. Just tell me what you think in the comments, and I will see you guys next time with something like this. I mean, if you like this video, I might do something like this again for another video game of your choice, maybe. If you want me to, you know, take a look behind, say, Dishonored or something like that, you know, and explore the uh, possible meaning behind that, let me know in the comments, and I will perhaps maybe do some more gaming conspiracies in the future. I mean, this is just a new thing I wanted to try, and I'm throwing it out there to see if it works. And if it works, and if you like it, I'll do more of them. But until then, see you guys next time.